coffee.
Well, if no one's gonna drink this, maybe I'll just... Ugh, that's terrible. That's...
The way she drinks coffee. So, it's Friday morning, motherfuckers. Sorry, I'm reading motherfucker right now on the screen, so trying to find this quote for Martin. He remembers this Martin. Choo-choo, motherfucker. I don't know what movie that's from. And John, you said you recognize it, and I'm trying to remember.
It sounds familiar, but then again, I'm seeing...
I keep seeing Sam Jackson.
I keep seeing the guy that goes, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, from Dexter.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfucker. Here's some fries, motherfucker.
Where's Keith when you need him? I'm sure he knows.
Yeah. Well, there was a whole video series of that one dude. He's like, you want some pie, motherfucker? It's a bunch of videos of him saying it over and over again, different ways. That was funny. That was back when Dexter was like really good.
Yeah.
But choo choo, motherfucker. I keep seeing one after another with Sam Jackson. I don't recall him saying that line. Let me try it another way. Quote. He keeps meme generator says the meme with Sam Jackson. Used characters popular opinion cinema force momentum cannot be slowed down. Thanks for explaining that meme for me. I had no idea that's what that meant.
Don't you love it when Google does that?
Really, I had no idea it meant that.
Yeah.
So, morning, everybody. It is Friday, or as they say in bad German, der Freitag.
I did not need that.
People don't need a lot of things, and yet they still get them. Let's see. Penny is here. Dragon Ruse is here. Andy Morrow is here.
Scribe Light, yeah.
Let's see. I'm reading up. Of course, my old friend Shirley Levasseur is here. Shirley and I go back a long time, man. She and I ran Josh Becker's website first, and then she took it over from me. And she ran it for quite a while. Let's see. Christian Delorme is here with a Canadian $6.69. Bonjour, everyone. I haven't gone missing. I'm on vacation. And no, Gary, I'm not drinking yet. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to trust the Canadian alcoholic. Tell me whether he's drinking or not. I love you, buddy.
We can always tell if he's drinking. If he keeps doing super chats, we know he's
drinking.
When
he starts throwing the money at me like I'm a stripper.
Yeah.
You know he's having some PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Let's see. Any good comments that I need to take a look at? Anything?
No, just saying hi to everybody.
Of course, I'm also in the chat as Cohen's Ghost, because I wanted to say hi to Shirley before the show. Oh, my goodness. My goodness, it's such a day. So we're talking about Jack Ryan's series, the new season 4, the final season of the show. It's interesting because Anima and I talked with Boone and Sarah about it on Monday. It was this last Monday.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting conversation because they agree with me that as enjoyable as this is not Jack Ryan. And that is definitely not Dean Chavez.
No.
He has his name. They have a great actor playing him. Michael Pena, right?
Yeah. I still like his character, though.
I didn't even want to see the new Ant-Man movie when I heard he wasn't going to be in it.
Yeah,
I lost interest because he was one of my favorite characters.
Wow. Another super chat from Christian.
Functional drunk. It's like I'm a functional idiot.
I'm not saying anything.
I tell people all the time, having an IQ, high IQ doesn't mean that much. So
I have a video for Christian, or should I play two?
Yeah, whatever you do.
Okay, so here we go.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
And
hello. Hey, Brian, it's me. I got a question for you. Herbert and I are playing categories. Would you count NyQuil as a beverage? No, right?
No.
Yeah, not gonna fly, old man. Thanks, Brian.
Oh, that is bullshit.
Bullshit. My buddy Mac, who Anima has finally met, notoriously would walk up behind me back when that show first started. He'd come up behind me when I was on the sofa playing with Zoe, and he'd get up right behind my ear, and he'd do that voice. Hey there, muscly arm little thing. He'd whistle when he did it, and I'd go, God damn it, make my hackles rise. Like, stop doing that voice in my ear, dude. It's so creepy. So let's see. Scribewright says Ryan was Ryan for about the first 3 episodes. I don't think they ever caught him, and it's really sad because I just forgot the name of the producer, Mace Neufeld. Mace Neufeld is the person who has kept Jack Ryan alive all these years. He's one who produced the first movies. He produced Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, which was just was weird. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but that was still not Jack Ryan. And then the latest iteration, which was on Amazon, still they just don't quite get Jack Ryan. They just don't quite get it because you have to have that period after the injury where he's trying to do something else and finds himself pulled into this. And it just never felt that way. It has to be something that doesn't come natural for him to want to do.
Yeah. He needs to be the unwilling participant.
Unwilling participant. He's combat effective. He's a Marine, but he doesn't want to fight. And he ends up being put in that position. Clear and Present Danger is a prime example because it's his fault that Dean Chavez gets in trouble and his team gets killed. And he didn't do it intentionally. But when he figures it out and finds out what had happened, he grabs Clark and goes down there to save the day. Actually, I think Clark is still down there. I can't remember why he ends up down there in the book. The movie and the damn book collide in my memory.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that Clark recruited Dean Chavez because of the movie. That's not how it happened. He was recruited by somebody else, and Dean Chavez's squad leader was John Clark. And that's how that dynamic and friendship and relationship began between those two. Gracias, Martin. Last super chat. 3 is the charm. Christian
Yeah, no one believes you, Christian.
$2. Be drinking.
We're just 8 minutes into the show. No one believes this is the last one.
Hey, Horny Alpha's here. What's up, fellow veteran buddy?
We need a video for Christian.
Yeah, you there, Martin?
Yep, I'm on it. I'm
Okay.
just giving you time to say hello to Horny Out. Oh my goodness.
I'm in a private chat group with Horny.
Stop that! It's silly. Very silly indeed.
There you go. Monty Python. You can't get wrong
Yep.
with Monty Python.
Nope.
This parrot is deceased. It is an ex-parrot. Nobody knows what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Nope.
Don't worry about
Yeah. I know. He's
the
pining
team
for the
itself-
fjords.
It's pining for the fjords. He's doing his Scottish. I love that. The team assault on the giant auction stronghold was comical, and the madam just happened to arrive in the boat at the exact right location to exfil. The whole episode was nonsense. It would have helped if they were actually in constant communication, because apparently she's done more work than just being a hooker. I like to party. I like to party talking about do it fluid, talking about it fluid. I like to party. Does anybody know what that is? It's got to be from classics.
Obviously, it's a song, but I don't know which one. Oh shit!
Oh, what are you doing? Your impression of Bill now?
Yeah.
No, my computer is falling apart all around me. But
Yeah, for me,
hey,
it's
Kingsport.
because it's laggy
Well,
as fuck. I don't know what's going on here.
And our Muslim uncle is here. How about that?
Hey, Mark, do me a favor in the private
Blackbirds.
chat. Give me your email.
Who? Me?
That's what I said.
Hey, Cal. How's it going? I have no idea who the Blackbirds are. If it's anything newer than 2010, I'm probably not going to know what it is. I'm just not hip and cool and up and on all the new
What's it
music.
called? Blackbirds?
We're all
I'll look it up.
entering in that phase from Abraham Simpson.
Oh, hey.
I mean, I know the Yardbirds, but not the Blackbirds.
Blackbirds started in 73 and reformed in 2012.
Huh.
Whoa, we lost
Lost
Anima.
Anima. Oh, okay.
Swingers. It not was that one.
Fascinating.
She's trying to get back.
Yep, she's back.
Oh yeah. Now that's the layout.
Right, I'm trying to take this over for you. So let's hear about the week. How was everybody's week? Martin, start with you.
Oh man, my week. Lots of work in my studio. I was yesterday. It looks like almost was ready, and then some ideas happen, and it's now like a war zone again. I'm getting ready to go tomorrow to see Mission Impossible. Yeah, I've started a rewatching of all the movies, and today is the last one. Not much to say, really. Just busy.
Yeah, I had an invitation to go this weekend, and I turned it down with Travis. And I told him next weekend will be better for me because I have so much I got to get done this weekend.
Andy
And I can
Morrow.
hardly wait to watch it. I really, God, it just looks so freaking good.
Oh, we have a bridge from Real Wade.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let me find
On my
something.
personal or on the PCM Twitter. There you go. I sent it to you, Martin. It's
Okay.
should be there within 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
it has to upload from my computer, so it's doing that. It's at 50% right now.
Okay.
So
So
this is
this
your
is a
3-minute
video.
warning.
Let's have a video for our friend.
One
Real
2-minute
White
warning
Nation.
is a great film with Charlton Heston. It's actually an all-star cast. Jack Klugman,
Yeah.
everybody's in that damn movie.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that in football, the 2-minute warning was created for,
Commercial break.
That's right. Final commercial breakout on a televised football game.
Yep.
Whoa.
Well,
Chris,
3-minute warning. 3-minute warning is a pro wrestling reference. It was a wrestling group faction that Eric Bischoff would bring out to punish people.
Mm.
But it had a couple of Fatu from the Inoue family in it. Rosie and I don't remember who the other one was.
All right, check your inbox. It should be in there.
Yeah, I'm on it.
And Andy Morrow's comment, better than Disney's week. Better than Hollywood's week.
Well, a lot of people don't know I ended up in the emergency room this week. That's why we didn't do a show on Wednesday. I've been recovering.
Yeah, from waiting 13 hours and not being seen.
Yeah, in the emergency room for 13 hours, and they couldn't manage to see me. A diabetic bleeding, with an open wound. They triaged me to the rear. Worst hospital I've ever been to. I'll never go back. And it's the second time I've done it. I went there with Zoe when she got hurt once, and I'll never. I didn't learn the first time. Not going back. Is Mercy, St. John's Mercy Hospital in Springfield, Missouri. Absolutely the worst triage I've ever seen. And I worked in the ER, in one of the biggest ERs in the country. And they can just suck a dick.
Yeah.
Let me give real weight.
I listened to one thing that pissed me off was there's this older gentleman. It was this black gentleman. He looked like he was clearly in his 80s, in a wheelchair with oxygen, was brought in, having all kinds of problems. And his cousin, who also was older and disabled, was the one who brought him in. And the young nurse behind the counter walked around to take his vitals. And to get his attention, she called him Buddy.
Mm.
And I turned and looked at that, and I'm like, who taught you?
Maybe she's Canadian.
I don't know, man. You just don't do that. That is so uncool, unprofessional to do that as a medical professional, to call somebody that. You call them ma'am, sir. I don't know. It just pissed me off the whole night.
Yeah.
And I was in so much pain. And talk to that old gentleman like that just pissed me off. And then there was this one lady who had been there as long as me, and she was in chronic pain. And she went up to say, we need you. It's like, of course, she doesn't understand what's going on here. It's a triage situation. But the nurse professional behind the counter just really was rude to her. And I just decided I'm never coming back to this hospital. And anytime I get a chance to dog it, because they are the same ones I think I told you guys about when when Zoe was going through puberty, and I wanted to go into the program there at the hospital, and where it explains to young girls what's happening to their body, and they can go there with their parent or mother is what it was set up for.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let me take Zoe because I was a man. That was Mercy Hospital. So
yeah,
next time
That's
I'm
ridiculous.
going to Cox South. Dr. Cox, from Scrubs. It's his hospital.
Well, when I was at VisionCon and I tore my toenail and it wouldn't stop bleeding, so I went sadly because Mercy was closest to the hotel. That's where I went. Yeah.
What the fuck did Muslim Uncle just say? Sorry, Gary, what kind of hydraulic so they need to lift your rear? Fuck you, man.
Fuck you, Muslim uncle. That was rude.
This is good, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I had a decent week.
It's good to hear.
Went to see Mission Impossible on Tuesday. It's my last week for this class of the Masters. And then I get a week off. So.
Can't complain about that. I've been trying to explain to Anima about going to school here. You know, being able to go to a trade school.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to go back to college. I said, don't go to college. Go to trade school. You'll get an actual job after you finish.
It doesn't work for me, college. I tried.
And make more money than you would be.
Than you would if you went to college.
Yeah. Yep.
But
that's something that I'm going to. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to explain to you. HVAC by itself, you can walk out of there making close to 40 to 50,000 a year doing HVAC, and it's like one of the easiest jobs to do.
Which in this state is decent money.
It is really good money in Missouri. I mean, if you're making $30,000 a year, you're doing good in Missouri. SAG strike. Oh man, I'm trying to care.
Yeah, I was.
I got a lot of friends who are actors, and it's like the only thing I'm concerned about, and I get the frustration is the studio system trying to pull this AI shit. I will absolutely not go to see a film that AI was used on for the writing and or the actors. That's some bullshit right there. I'll refuse to go to that.
Well, I mean, if they use AI to help punch up stuff, that's one thing.
That's effects.
Yeah.
Are you talking about something else?
No, I'm talking about using it to.
Yeah, using it for effects is different. I'm talking about where they're wanting to use it for writers, and they're wanting to use it to capture the faces of background actors, so they can constantly throw them into the background and not have to pay them again. And that's I don't know how that's not criminal. Stealing somebody's identity.
If you sign away, if you sell them your identity, then they can use it any way they want.
That they ask for it should be criminal. It should be, because it's just they're stealing your identity.
Well, James Earl Jones will always be the voice of Darth Vader now, since he signed his voice away and they have enough samples.
That's different for after he's dead, not able to act anymore. But he's also signed an agreement that his family gets paid. It goes to the estate. So
speaking of AI, Chris is having his birthday today.
Who is?
Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Chris Moonlight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Is he here?
No.
Then, okay.
Because I know everything, Gerry.
I posted on
Facebook.
You should differentiate from me, so I'm not looking in the chat for like, oh, is he here? Just tell me. Oh, I read on Fifth Book. Then I go.
Oh, did I make you uncomfortable?
No, it's just. So. Saw Indy last Tuesday. Nodded off twice. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Lady V Elements is here. Hey, Friday bitches, what's up? Oh my, Gary finally got some facial hair. I've had facial hair for forever. It's just been gray.
Yeah.
So you can't see it with my pasty white face.
He had to go buy some Just for Men.
I've had that for years. I've never been out. I just sometimes forget to use it or just neglect to. So Chris's birthday, yeah. You say it's your birthday. Yeah, baby.
Well, There was a hiccup for my movie to see Mission Impossible because they put it in a theater that had Indy because they moved Indy out because nobody's going to see it. Well, it started playing.
They queued up Indy.
Yeah, and I was like, son of a bitch! As soon as that Lucasfilm, I'm like, oh crap! I'm not watching this again. Yeah, it took them like 15 minutes, but I was like, oh crap! I'm not watching this movie again. Especially not paying for it.
Right. Yeah, I feel for you, Shinatsky. It's impacting me too. Because one of my jobs, I'm not getting paid right now because my employer is impacted by the strike. So it's been really rough. Because I don't want to take on a new job. I'm afraid of taking on a new job because I know the strike will end and then he's going to need me. So I'm just sort of roughing it. But let's see. You got the videos, Martin?
Yes. Which one do you want first?
Well, they're numbered. So you tell me. Have you figured it out yet?
No, I cannot read numbers in English. Dick.
Oh my, Martin's boomerang again.
Hey, those aren't numbers in English. Those are Arabic.
Don't gringos explain to me.
So the new season is they're giving a good effort, trying to tell good storytelling. They've got some problems. This is the final season. Not going to go any further.
At least with John Krasinski.
Yeah, they're moving forward with Dean Chavez, but I don't see it working because Dean Chavez without John Clark just doesn't work for me. Also, their version of Dean Chavez is really weird. It's weird because Dean Chavez is supposed to be introduced a certain way. And this season is also loosely adapted from Clear and Present Danger. They use some of the same plot points. And Dean Chavez, instead of being introduced the way he should be, is introduced as an operative that's already out in the field and he's undercover. And that's not Dean Chavez. Dean Chavez was recruited for combat.
Yeah,
he was straightforward, assault teams. And his job was to go down with John Clark, who in this season is replaced by the character we've met him previously, Mike November. Or, I'm sorry, Oscar.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it Mike November?
Mike November.
Mike November.
MN.
Which is just military phonetic for MNN.
Isn't Clark supposed to be in the Dean Chavez series?
They've been negotiating because what's
Michael
his
B.
name?
Jordan.
Krasinski. John Krasinski met with Jordan about being in this show, and they really did. They had meetings, but nobody liked that version of Clark either. That movie tanked on Amazon. Nobody watched it.
Yeah.
They're talking about getting a sequel. I'm like, why? The first one wasn't watched. You going to make another one? So it would have been better if they had brought him into this, even though he's not John Clark.
Dude, they're making a season 2 for Reno's Power. So
yeah, even though he's no James Earl Jones, I like the actor who plays Greer in this.
No, he's really good, and already in these 2 episodes, we get to see him put in the position we meet him in the first Jack Ryan story.
Yeah,
as deputy director, and but they make it look like Jack Ryan gave him that position, and you'll see what I'm talking about in these episodes. They
Yeah.
basically, sorry guys.
The further we go watching this season, the more I get the feeling that I'm really missing out not having seen any previous stuff of Jack Ryan. Because at first it was small references here and there, and now it's like you compare all the time, and all I can do is just listen. And I just know what I'm seeing now. I just know season 4.
Well, that's
And I
fine.
think the first episode of season 1. But
They tried. Mace Newfield has kept Jack Ryan alive. He really has. Well, he's dead now. Mace died a year ago. But he during his life, he really kept pushing Jack Ryan, pushing, and trying to get new material. When they did the last film, which was the nuclear one, football game, Ben Affleck, it was already slipping. It was slipping in. But I liked Liev Schreiber as Clark. I thought he did a good job. And I like, was it Morgan Freeman that plays Greer? Or he played a different character?
I don't think it was Greer.
No, I think in that universe, it was the same universe as the previous film. So Greer was dead. He died of cancer.
Yeah.
And so Morgan was the new deputy director. Really good stuff. I got to tell you, man. I just didn't like Ben Affleck as Jack Ryan. He just didn't work for me.
I hate to say it, but Alex Baldwin has been the best Jack Ryan.
Alec Baldwin was the best version. And I liked Harrison Ford's version because Harrison Ford does something that most actors can't do. He's an everyman.
Yeah.
He knows how to be, because he was a carpenter. He knows how to play an every guy, and it works in his own way. He's a bit older for the character, but he pulled it off. I liked his version in Patriot Games, and I really liked him in Clear and Present Danger. When they escape, they make it out of the compound at the end, and they're flying out with the helicopter, and he kills the bad guy, narrowly escaping. He's lucky he killed him when he did. As they're getting out of there, they give that great moment where they look at each other and they smile like, "We got out of here," but then their faces get somber because people fucking died that they cared about. And I was like, I guarantee you Harrison Ford was the reason that happened. Because he has a tendency of going, why were we laughing like idiots? People just fucking died.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're right. Maybe we should be more somber. Yeah, no shit, motherfucker. It's sort of like at the end of Hamburger Hill. I mean, not Hamburger Hill.
Oh,
the
crap.
Clint Eastwood film.
Heartbreak Ridge.
Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, they're all laughing and
where Prophylactic died,
Yeah.
He's a member of their team, Marine Recon, died in combat, and they're fucking smiling like idiots at the end of that movie, and it pissed me off. There he is, Mike November. He is the manifestation of John Clark in this series, and I like him as an actor. And it would be neat if you discover later that Mike November, of course, is his obvious code name, and his real name is John Clark.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what they've inferred in the series so far, is John Clark, because everything that John Clark does, this guy's been doing it.
Yeah, that actor's in my favorite scene in Transformers: Rise of Beasts.
And by the way, I watched that this week while I was healing. The new Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. You find out he's the head of G.I. Joe, or one of the recruiters for G.I. Joe. And I liked that. That was the only part of that film I really liked. I did not enjoy that film. There were some moments, but the rest of the time it just was so pedantic and just overdoing things. And it felt like just the worst blaxploitation film I'd ever seen. I mean, it's like Hollywood trying to make money off of black people again. It's just annoying. It's like, we're going to make everything urban. It's like, oh my God. And they got that fucking asshole to do the voice of Mirage. Fucking hate that guy.
Oh,
that guy cannot act worth a shit. His voice is terrible. The minute I heard it, I was like, swinging at the air.
Mirage is not supposed to be a jackass. He's supposed to be this suave.
Yeah, it was just stupid. But I like the relationship between the main character and his little brother.
Yeah.
Like that. That was like the best part of the story. And of course we've got a cynical Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Humans, they're nothing but trouble.
I'm like, that's not Optimus. Optimus is like the biggest human cheerleader.
Hey, Roman Empire, the Empire's here. What's up, Roman of the Empire, buddy? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing good. What was that, Muslim said? Gerry, you come off like an old school guy, and you mentioned they put you in the rear trying to give some sympathy and make you laugh. In the experience, most old guys don't like too much sympathy. I don't like sympathy. Empathy is different. But when people start feeling sorry for me, it's like, fuck you, man. I've earned my injuries. I've earned my brokenness. I like that guy, the villain in this.
Yeah.
One of the villains. He's the manifestation of villainy in the show, is that guy. And I'm looking forward to his murder on this show. I really am. He's earned it already.
Yep.
He threatens Greer at one of his houses. See, blaxploitation to me wasn't good until black directors, producers started making it. And then I was okay. The reason it's called blaxploitation was because the studios were making these and making money off of it. And it fucking pisses me off when they do that shit. And they're doing it again. They act like they're doing it for wokeness, doing their checkbox thing, but it's the exact same shit that they did back in the 60s, early 70s. And it's insulting. No Sean Bean murder is yeah, that's right. We don't get to see Patriot games.
Yep.
And they're even keeping some of the elements of who the bad guys are, because the cartels were who were behind the shit in Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
But in the book and film, the president knew what was going on. I don't think they're going to go that direction with this president. When I met her, I just don't trust her character. The minute I saw her, I was like, something off with her, the way she acts, the way she talks. I don't like the way she smiles. And I don't know. I was trying to figure out who this guy was, and you find out in this episode that he's the main character, or main Asian character, that guy, his brother-in-law. His sister is married to him, the one that he's trying to escape with. And this is where he announces, I know what you're up to. I know what you're trying to do. And he tells him right here, you can escape. I'm going to turn a blind eye to this. And you're going to turn a blind eye and let me leave? And he goes, yes, you. And he goes, what do you mean, just me? And he said, what about your sister? And he's like, no, she stays here. The minute he said that, he signed his own death warrant.
Yeah.
This guy is not going to give up his wife. He tells him, you're a good brother. I love you. And he says, let's stick with your plan. Your plan works. And they pull back and they cut to the rear of the car and you hear a gunshot. You know what happened.
Yep.
Before he shoots him, he tells him, we're doing it your way. And then you hear a gunshot. I was like, what the
I just said that. Yeah, I said that. He said, we're going to do it your way. And then they pull to the back and you hear the gunshot and you go, oh.
It shocked me.
Not me. I was expecting it. So this is an interesting scene because Michael Pena's character, that's supposed to be Ding Chavez, gives him some money and tells him, you're going to do what we want. You're going to go bust them.
Yeah.
My problem is I don't like the fact that they've got him acting more like a spy or operative than a combat soldier, which is what he is.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know what it is. And this is what we talked about with Boone and Sarah, is they just don't seem to understand the line between each character and why they're important in the story. And they're just making them across the board the same characters. All Dean Chavez is another version of Jack Ryan, and all Jack Ryan is another version of Mike November.
Or James Bond.
They're all the same kind of operatives, and it's weird. The distinction is what makes it so cool within the Tom Clancy universe, is the distinction of whose job is what.
Yeah.
But the one character I think that stands out in this series, especially outside of season 1 and season 2, season 3 and 4 are Greer all the way. I like the way this character plays him. The same dude from The Wire. I always forget his name. Good actor. The first season, they got overly focused on his religion. And I'm like, that's weird. That's weird. Why are you paying attention so much to his religion? And here he blames the dead brother-in-law as being the mole. Moley, mole, 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 mole.
Hey, the Decepticon's cave is here.
Yeah, I wonder how he felt about the new Rise of the Beasts, because I was very disappointed with it. I'm like,
Well,
let's get this straight. You're all excited because you got the rights back from Michael Bay, and you're going to do so much better, and then you put out stuff that's no better than anything Michael Bay ever did.
Except for one scene.
Which scene for you?
The very last scene.
Oh, well, yeah. See, I like the after scene.
Yeah.
I also like the just before the credits final scene.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, the G.I. Joe scene.
No, I kind of enjoyed the mid-credit scene too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a kick out of that.
Thing is, okay, I won't spoil anything.
I've been waiting forever for that
they're
to
talking
happen.
shit about Croatia. Nice.
They're not talking shit. They're giving the
they're
information
totally
to the
talking shit.
marketplaces.
You don't know. You don't know anything.
Well, unlike you, I was able to understand all the Croatian parts in the next episode.
I understood it too. I had subtitles.
I was sharing my screen when we watched it, and I didn't put subtitles on.
I have it on my screen too. You don't know that.
Nah. I figured with all the issues that we have.
Yeah, I was watching it on my phone.
But I really like that they brought Croatia into this. It's a great shooting location.
Yeah, it's a third world country like Mexico.
No, Dubrovnik is fascinating. And those tunnels are real. Like most of them looked like real location. And so many tourists don't know that they are there. Mm-hmm. All they care for is the city wall and Old Town.
She's a really good character too, by the way. I didn't like her when she first started on the show, but she's grown on me. Season 2 is just a terrible season.
She's another alum of the Wire, like the actor who plays Greer.
She nails this character. Oh, here we go. Threatens him at his house. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. He goes, stop. That's it. I'm giving you advice. Just stop. He's warning him. That's it. And that was, I don't know. I liked his character as a villain. He's a good character as a villain.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see his demise, as John Cleese would say, in the final episodes. Because we only get, 8 episodes this season or 6?
Give me a second, I'll tell you. I just got to pull up my TV calendar. We're just getting 6. Last 2 are tonight. Or are already out, technically.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot Foundation started today.
Oh, season 2.
Season 2, yeah.
That's another show. I didn't watch season 1, and I'm really wanting to because that was some good sci-fi. The books.
Yeah, this doesn't. If you take it, I have to separate this from the books because it's not exactly. It's loosely based on the Foundation series, but it's not anywhere close to the. It's like how iRobot isn't exactly iRobot.
Well, because there's two iRobots, and it gets confusing for people because there's the Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, it's the one I'm talking about. Is the Isaac Asimov iRobot? That's what it's and it's actually technically based on the third book in the series, not the first book, which is the first book is called iRobot, but it's actually, I forgot what the title of the third book is called, but it's actually based on the third book of the series for the plot. You know, the whole robot uprising.
Mm-hmm.
And something a lot of people don't realize that Isaac Asimov wrote all that in the same universe. The iRobot universe is the prehistory of the Foundation series.
And he created the rules.
Yeah.
As I recall.
3 rules of robotics. 3 laws.
Laws of robotics.
Yeah, the 3 laws of robotics. And I'm trying to remember what they were. I cannot.
A robot cannot injure. A robot has to obey. No, a robot cannot injure.
Here it is. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Second law, a robot must obey the orders given to it by a human being, except where such orders would conflict with the first law.
Mm-hmm.
Third law, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first and second laws.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff. What did you think of the Will Smith movie?
It's a good action flick.
Yeah, I mean, I had to divorce it from the fact it wasn't, right from the book, but as a movie on its own, I enjoyed it.
I've always oddly preferred the story that was used in Outer Limits, and they did it twice, and had Leonard Nimoy in both versions.
Yeah,
they had the original series and then the redo that was in, I think, the 90s or late 80s.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. I think it was the 90s, wasn't it? It was the 90s.
That was early 90s.
Yeah, and Nimoy is in both versions. I like that. It's a good story, and basically, it's the trial for the robot after all the events of the story where it had killed its master.
Yeah,
and whereas the movie just is about the killing of the master and him catching it and finding out that there's a grander conspiracy within the robotics industry. Good stuff. We can move on to the next episode.
Okie dokie. Oh,
hey,
Chief is in the house. And there he is.
Hey, Patrick.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Hi, Chief.
Doing good.
Anyway.
Good so far. We're getting ready to go into episode 4 of Jack Ryan for the new season, the final season. It's weird. They started doing better with the show, and they're going to end it.
Yeah, well, they are ending it because John Krasinski didn't continue his contract. He didn't. They were going to do more seasons, but he turned them down.
Yeah, it made us believe that it was because he was going to play Reed Richards.
Play?
Bastard. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get it started here. So these are, those are what happened last week.
Yeah.
Anima likes the opening title sequence, the way they do that, differing images. One side deals with his injuries and what he's doing. The other side is the governmental military side of things.
Yep.
And how they
we're only 4
together.
episodes in. Usually around episode 6 or 7, I start skipping them, but the first couple of episodes, I like watching them when they're done like that.
Oh crap! What We Do in
And
the
yes, I
Shadows
got
started
very
last night.
nostalgic watching this.
So this is in Croatia, right? This is where he's going to meet with the
This is
madam.
Dubrovnik, yes.
And the madam, of course, is really connected. And he needs to speak to her. And I do like this scene because after certain events in the previous seasons, he got really bummed out. He kind of lost his job with CIA.
Yeah.
And he says, she's like created a whole like thing with you. And he goes, I got really depressed. So he spent a lot of time.
They're
with
kind of
this
together, right?
They're kind of together. Yeah. You get the feeling that they like each other and care about each other. And she says a great line in the episode that women like me don't get old. She knows that. And so she's trying to
And
find
she likes
her
to
way
change
out.
that fact.
Yeah. She wants to change everything.
Well, not just her way, her and her girls. She cares a lot for these girls.
And this guy's a really good actor. I really dig this guy as an actor. And of course, by the way, at this point, Jack Ryan has stepped down as the sitting deputy director. Sitting means that he has the job, but he's not been approved by Congress. So now he's given the job, or suggested the job be given to Greer. So Greer's finally in that seat. And I'm certain at the end of this, he'll get his approval. That's how they'll end it. They'll make it look like Jack Ryan was a huge operator, then quit and wrote books, and then comes back, is what they're going to suggest at the end of this. And I'm like, whatever, dude.
Yeah. He wasn't an operator. He was an analyst.
Yep. He was an analyst. By the way, Shirley, many years ago, told me that because of where they live on the East Coast, they have McLobster. At
That
McDonald's.
just sounds wrong.
At McDonald's. It's fresh. Because I just think that's crazy that they serve lobster at McDonald's on where she's at. I can't remember. She's in Maine, I think.
That would make sense.
But she told me I'm going to go get some McLobster. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That's a thing. But they do that. McDonald's does that regionally.
Yeah.
Wherever it's located. If there's regional food that's worth selling, that McDonald's will sell it. I think that's funky, but cool at the same time.
Yeah, there's places where you can get pizza at McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know there's places like in Asia and stuff, you can get like egg rolls and shit. And McWasabi.
Yeah. I think in Thailand you can get pho.
Pho? Really? Oh
yeah.
My God. That's crazy. I like pho noodles, man. That's the shit. Really high carb content, so I can't enjoy them but anymore. But man, and back in the day, I'd eat the shit out of those.
I miss
now,
my pad Thai.
Now, Michael Pena is so good. I wish they had given him the proper Dean Chavez.
Yeah.
Because I think he would have nailed it. Because that's one thing that we got into with Boone and Sarah, because the CIA's military guys are from the military. They recruit them, but they don't recruit them as operatives. They recruit them as soldiers. And that's what GRS is from, because that's what Boone was. Boone was a sniper for GRS. And GRS is one of the military aspects that are on posts around the world, CIA posts, and their job is.
That's who Span was, the guy that was killed in the riot in Afghanistan. One of the first guys, American CIA. He was
CIA
one of their
military,
they call them
GRS.
paramilitary operatives in the CIA. Yeah.
And the problem with that film, by the way, 13 Hours, we talked about it with Boone, and that'll be coming up on Monday. We're going to be airing that. And Boone was talking about the fact that they kind of misrepresent the military side of things. They act like they're a separate entity from the CIA, and it's not. They are CIA, but they are specifically assigned to do a certain job, and that's their job. And the problem was they started, and they got frustrated with that, is they got turned into babysitters, and that's not what their job is. Their job is to go out and do things, and then come back, recon, and of course in Clear and Present Danger, which this series is really loosely based on, it's about Dean Chavez's team going out with his squad leader, which was John Clark, and they were to go down and be troublemakers for these cartels and the drug chain.
Yeah.
And they were attacking them and destroying their fields and everything and their supply. And nobody does that better than Special Forces. And of course, Dean Chavez, a lot of people don't know this, is that he was a straight up military guy, and he served for years. He became a drill instructor before he got recruited. And I forget the guy's name that recruits him. And then he also recruits John Clark, and John Clark is his squad leader. And that's how their relationship and their dynamics start in Clear and Present Danger. Read that damn book. It's a great book.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Clancy.
All the original Tom Clancy books, the ones he wrote, are good. The ones that were written by him and someone else, they start to lose quality because it's not the same.
He always had a ghostwriter, because he's not really good with dialogue. And he's like George Lucas. And so he always had somebody working under him. But eventually it got to where he would throw things down, and then the writer would take over and take what he gave him. And I think the quality went down there. They're still good, but they're nowhere near as good as those first books. He had more control over those first books. But
I don't think he did as well as Clive Cussler did in curating his successors. Writing, who's going to take over the series after he's gone.
I love Clive Cussler, man.
Oh, I do too.
I was so shocked when he died. I was like, what? That's Clive Cussler. That dude's going to live forever.
I read everything. Well, and now they're not written by him, but he's got like Boyd Morrison, and his son has taken over for his mainline novels with Dirk.
By the way, I did not start reading Jack Ryan until 87, 88. It was near the end of the 80s, because I was dating this girl, and her dad was a huge Jack Ryan fan, and he introduced me to the books. And I'm like, so I read the first three books, and I'm like, this shit is good. I've never seen so much detail put into things. And but that's Clancy, man. Yeah. And the funny part about Clancy is that he kept getting investigated. And he's like, they're like, how did you know about this and that and the other thing? And he goes, Library of Congress. Everything is in the Library of Congress. Everything I read is public domain. And they're like, what? And they would go check, and they're like, holy shit, how is this not redacted?
Well, Steve Jackson Games, when they created their Cyberpunk supplement, actually got raided by the Secret Service.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they held on to it for like, is it 2 years, year and a half? Yeah, they came and took the Cyberpunk stuff because they were worried that it was going to teach people how to hack. It doesn't, but yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah, so
I always consider Tom Clancy the guy who would write the tech manual, how that world works. Because he was like a tech master.
Yeah.
He was really good at the research. His lacking was in the narrative aspects, when it came to dialogue and narrative. And that's where he would always have somebody help him. And I still don't know to this day who his assistant writer was. I don't think he's ever allowed that to be known. It's probably in the estate that person can never speak ever about what they did. Could you imagine if Joseph Wambaugh had done that, Patrick?
What, all that time to write? I mean,
yeah, because Wambaugh didn't use a ghostwriter. He wrote everything himself.
Everything. Well, and there's every day you got a new story you can write or you can build on, right? So, I mean, every day, because, well, I can tell a lot of entertaining stories, but they're not fit for probably this channel. But, that would make for really interesting stories, right? And,
well, yeah, because Gene Roddenberry was constantly selling personal stories to Jack Webb in particular. I don't know if he ever worked with Wambaugh, but a lot of people don't know that Gene Roddenberry was a beat cop.
Was a what? A deacon?
A beat cop.
Oh, a beat cop. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he walked a beat. Yeah, L.A.
I just want to say on these books by Clancy, the first 3 chapters, you have to make an investment, right, before it really starts, because there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of groundwork laid for the technologies involved and the character development. So,
it's true though.
I read 2 of his books. I think I read Hunt for Red October, and I read Jack Ryan. I think the original one. So. But you better be ready to sit down for a few hours, just to, what I mean, just to, because some there, it's right off the bat they're good, and then, but it takes a grind.
Patriot Games. What was the first 3 books?
Hunt for Red October.
Hunt for Red October, right?
What was after Hunt for Red October? Damn, it's been decades since I read them.
It's Hunt for Red October, Red Storm Rising.
That's it, yeah.
And Patriot Games. So those are the first 3. Yeah. Those are the first 3 I read.
And wasn't the 4th, I think, was Cardinal in the Kremlin?
Cardinal of the Kremlin. Then Clear and Present Danger, I read right before the film came out.
I think I did Hunt for Red October and Patriot Games are the 2 that I read. So good movies.
And you really do. This kind of reading isn't for your average leisure reader. The persons that like to just sit down. These, and you said it, you've got to be willing to invest your time into this, because it is a deep read when you get into them. And in the end, though, you get so much, because by the time we get to in the 90s, you had what's one? I'm trying to remember. Executive Orders is when they crashed the jetliner into the Capitol building, killing everybody, making Jack Ryan's character the only survivor, and he becomes president.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Well, I can say the movies and as good as the movies are, and I imagine I haven't really got into the television show, it's hard to do justice on the kinds of detail that Clancy goes into in the novels, because it's just hard to get that for the screen. I think they do okay, but
I've had friends that worked in that environment, and they love Clancy's books.
I referred to Clancy's books as technically dense.
They're very dense with information, and you can walk away from reading a Clancy novel having been entertained, but you learn something too.
Yeah.
You actually learn shit reading his books. And again, like I said, look at this bitch. I didn't trust her the minute I saw her. The casting was really good in her character, because her character was given away very early because of who they cast. She's just shifty. She's a very shifty person. This firefight is interesting. It's they really expect you to understand what's going on here, and it feels everything, because Scribe Light brought this up earlier. Everything seems happenstance. But the fact is everything was planned out. But because it was planned out off screen, you don't know that. And it's weird that she shows up there just at the right time. The Croatian hooker and her girls. So I don't know what to call her, madam, whatever. She's not really the madam. Hey, Real White Nation's here. Another thing is I'm 19 away from 500. Outstanding, dude. Congratulations.
Good job.
Let's see who else is here. Cam Cam is here. What's up, Cam Cam? Hello, everyone. Pop Culture. Yeah. And then Laszlo Panaflex is here. Hello, Cam Cam. Hello, Cam Cam. I hate you, Eric Valgren. The minute he said "hero," that's what I think of is Team America. I love Clancy's first 6 or 7 books. Stopped after that one about Jack becoming president. I enjoyed that one because the subterfuge in that plot, that a member of the Secret Service is a double agent out to assassinate him or his kid. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, but you got to admit that book is kind of ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy that he would be the sole survivor. But remember when 9/11 happened?
Yeah.
They went straight to Tom Clancy again.
Yep.
FBI.
What did you know and when did you know it?
I'm going to take off, guys. I just wanted to stop in and say hello, and looks like you got a great show going here.
I was just talking about this.
What are you doing next Tuesday, Chief?
Next Tuesday, I am doing Magnum Force. I'm going to do
Magnum Force. Dirty
yeah,
Harry.
Come back to Dirty Harry again. It'll be.
You remember who's one of the cops in that?
Yeah, no, it's David Soul.
That's
Robert
right,
Urich,
Starsky and Hutch.
And the guy from Animal House, Tim Matheson, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Tim Matheson is in it. He's one of the cops too.
He's
also, his partner in that would go on to do Cagney and Lacey.
Yeah, so it'll be a good show. It'll be a fun show.
It has this great moment, Patrick, that I love to this day when she's standing in the backblast area of that RPG, and he grabs her and pulls her out of the way. One of the few Hollywood films that recognizes there's a black backblast area on an RPG. Most films don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, and some outright ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist because you've got the Charles Bronson film where he hip fires one.
Yeah.
Well, the famous line is what you guys are talking about from the movie is man's got to know his limitations, right? So yeah. So tune in. We'll talk about it, and you guys have a great show. Okay.
All right, Patrick. Thanks for dropping in, man.
Have a good weekend.
Good Chief.
All right, Chief.
Did we restart this?
Magnum Force.
No.
Oh, this is the
I didn't.
No, it just took a while, I think, for the intro to begin.
Oh.
I got to tell you, I watched the opening of Mission Impossible. And that is a long intro.
Yeah.
That was like 20 minutes. Basically, the first act is like before the opening titles.
Yeah.
Lot of shit happens. But I got to tell you, that whole opening scene, I'm sold. I'm sold. That was so freaking awesome.
A lot of shit happens in that whole movie.
When Kittner turns, he goes, "How do you expect to get out of here?" And he turns and he looks at him. And he goes, "Oh."
Oh, and they're seamless transitions when they pull off their faces and stuff. You can't even tell. And I'm like, they've really got that
from these, the Rob Bottin started that shit. And for the first Mission Impossible film. And it's become seamless now. It is really exactly what they want it to be.
Because you're sitting there going, okay, when did they swap out actors? You know, because a lot of time, early days, you could tell. You could see that little CG effect that in the transition. But now it's like,
Well, also some of the two characters are played by Tom Cruise
yeah,
in makeup, and then he puts on makeup to look like him. So clearly he looks like him because they were him to begin
Yeah.
with, which was something they did in the series all the time. They, in the first few seasons, the first 3 seasons, they would get actors that looked like Martin Landau or were played by Martin Landau. In fact,
Yeah.
one of my favorites, they had a different actor that had a similar facial structure. They always had to have a long face and a long nose. And he had to dress up to look like this one character. But in fact, he's the one playing it. But with that one character, the mobster, the actor plays him, but the voice is done by Martin Landau. That way, when he's supposedly him, it still sounds like him.
yeah.
Hey, Sex in
Hey,
the
Kyle's
house.
here. What's up? He's Kyle.
Do it. Do it now.
Oh, that's right. I got to play a video for him.
I got it.
Oh my gosh. You got it?
Oh, wait, it's not down here. Oh, there it is.
Hey, fuck you, Kyle.
That's from all of us.
Not me. I wouldn't say that to Kyle.
Now, Kyle knows it means I love you.
Yeah, you've added a couple of videos since I looked last on this. In the studio.
Oh, this one? Yeah,
Yeah.
this one?
There's a camera on my back.
That's a dirt in her face. Oh my God, I love that so much. That movie can make me giggle. And I can't stand Jim Carrey. That fucking movie.
I like The Mask, and that's about it.
Look, I can't say that because there's a lot of stuff that he did that I liked. I just cannot stand him. And it's
Yeah.
because once I learned there was something wrong with him, that he hasn't gotten help and continues this thing, and that he's got fans that support him with these problems,
Yeah.
pisses me off. It's like, you want people to get help. Don't sit there and be proactive with their behavior. You got to call them out. You need to get help. And
Yeah.
that's why he's languished for so long. I knew there was something wrong with him when he did Man on the Moon, when the reports started coming out of what he was doing behind the scenes.
Now,
I
see,
knew
that's
something was
another
wrong
one.
with
I
him.
forgot about that. I liked him as Andy Kaufman.
Oh, he's great as Andy Kaufman. But what pissed a lot of people off that knew Andy Kaufman was that he got into a version of Andy Kaufman and wouldn't leave character. And they would say, yeah, but that wasn't Andy Kaufman. So what was he doing? That's not Andy that he's doing. It's a caricature.
Yeah.
And he would get into this caricature and not leave it. It was his method. It was just whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Look, the guy's got mental problems. He really does. I feel bad for him, but it doesn't mean I'm going to like placate him and go, "Oh man, that's okay." What he says, he's all about peace and love. No, he's not. He says some fucked up shit, man.
Yeah. When Andy died, I was really hoping it was a joke.
Oh, I thought it was a prank too. I'm like,
Yeah.
no way, he's dead. No way.
No. And it's like, yeah, he's going to come out as his manager a year later. Yeah. He just wanted some time off. Nope. He was gone.
It's sad. And he really was funny. I enjoyed him. The first time he was on Saturday Night Live doing his like, he played the little record player and he'd do the Elvis impression.
Yeah, that's a hilarious bit.
And it was the first version of Latka he
Yeah.
created, Thank you very much. Like the whole Mighty Mouse music playing.
Yeah.
Here I come to save the day.
Yep.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
Why are we looking at the slideshow of episode 2?
I don't know. I don't care. It's over. Let's get into Skull Island. And
we get to meet Dog now, finally.
Dog is really one of my favorite characters. Technically, he's kind of a kaiju. He's not supersized. He's something that you would meet in one of the Godzilla films that was like friendly, like Godzilla Jr., son of Godzilla. And there's been like, because the cartoon, it was, what was his name in the cartoon in the 80s?
Gazuki.
Yeah, Gazuki. But that's not what he was called in the films. And I can't remember what he was called in the films.
Minya. Minya is his real name.
Minya. And I really, because there are two versions of the son of Godzilla. There was the one version that's the adults on the island, and we get to see, baby Godzilla having his little adventures.
Yeah.
While Daddy's trying to get some sleep.
Yeah.
And then they took it and not us, Japan took it and readapted it into another story where a little boy is dealing with bullies.
Yeah.
Him and his sister are dealing with bullies. And this kid keeps mentally going to that island. And it's the entire, all the action with Godzilla and what's his name again? Minya. And
Minya.
Minya and he connect. And it's a weird film. I liked it. I have a copy of it on my hard drive.
Well, psychic communication and psychic, that kind of psychic rapport is something you see throughout.
It didn't come across that way to me. It felt like it was a fantasy world that this.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way this is. That's the way it's shot. And later on, you find that there's actual people that have psychic connections with these kaiju.
Oh, okay.
And later movies, because there's they've got like G-Force and stuff, and they have members that are psychic that actually connect with the kaiju. Well, that's what inspired what happened in the Korean movie Colossus, which has American actors and stuff, but it's actually from Korea.
I liked Colossus.
Yeah, I liked the premise. It was good. Although they took it a little more extreme than they ever did the psychic connection in Godzilla, but
I don't remember who was in that.
That was Anne Hathaway and who was the guy? I can't remember who played the guy.
Colossal. That was it.
Colossal, not Colossus. Yeah, Colossus.
It was Ted Lasso. I can't think of his name. Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, that's it.
It was an interesting, weird film.
Yeah.
Where they're like, the creature is almost like an avatar for them.
Yeah, Colossus is a different movie entirely.
Actually, one of my favorite kaiju films, also Korean, Host.
Yes. Host is a good movie.
I was pissed at the beginning. Oh, it's always got to be the Americans are the bad guys. Whatever, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, well, you just got to expect it when you're dealing with Asian movies.
We don't cause any of our own problems.
No, but I don't mind. America's a big country. We can take being the target.
That ends up being a joke in one of my scripts I wrote many years ago, back in the early 90s. I was in the Army. I wrote this script that takes place on the moon, where a lab experiment goes south and this creature is released from it. And it is a creature made up of loose tissue, a mixture of adipose and tendon and muscle. And it's covered in an exoskeleton that is made up of irregular bones. So it's capable of changing its shape, a shapeshifter. And this thing is just rips up the Japanese base, kills a bunch of people, and the Americans find themselves getting involved as they find themselves under assault by this thing because it can walk around on the moon and not die. And so they go up against it, and one of the pod fighters, because they fly, it's like in 2001: Space Odyssey, they have these special pods that they fight with in low G, low gravity. So the pilot turns around and says the line. He says, "The Japanese created it?" And everybody turns and looks at him, at this briefing. He goes, "They blame us for Godzilla. And then they make the real monster. It was like, okay, let's get real here.
Yeah.
There's another funny moment with that pilot. He survives a crash. How he does it is he uses a jet rocket pack, small one, to burst him out of the back of the pod as it's about to crash. And it literally nullifies his speed. So he just sort of drops to the ground. And he said, "You're alive." And he goes, "Yeah, man, physics." Does a body good. I write a lot of stupid comedy in my crap. There's always one cocky, mouthy prick. But with this latest episode, we're on, again, just like with Jack Ryan, episodes 3 and 4. Let's get into episode 3. So anybody want to lead us on this one?
Where Charlie and Mike are being chased by dog. And there's a huge croc-looking kaiju. Not really a full-size kaiju. That's just a big monster. And they're running from it. And of course, it's trying to eat them, and they're running away. And then Kong shows up and grabs the croc creature and eats him, and then walks away.
Well, after they go down the waterfall.
Yeah, after they go down the waterfall. Yeah, they end up jumping down a waterfall and trying to get away from this thing. They think they get away, and it stops up at the rock at the top of the waterfall and looks down at him and then disappears. So they think, oh well, it's given up. Nope, it just went to run back so it could get a big leap.
Better leap.
And they're like, what Gerry said when the croc stood up on the waterfall looking down on him? What a shitty predator. And then he just... Oh.
Yeah.
I also like that you get a really good idea of their friendship. You get the two of them interacting with each other, and I like that. They're great characters.
Well, he just went through watching his dad get squashed by a kaiju.
Yep, on the boat the night before.
Yeah, and because you got to remember, their adventures are just happening immediately after they got washed up on shore. So
and this is apparently in the universe. It's not like extra universe. It's its own little thing. They are working within the universe of what was in Kong Skull Island and what was in Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, this is all because this is done by Legendary itself, and this is all canon. So basically, what is it? Charlie's dad. Well, actually, they meet up with Dog and Annie, and that's where they find out that was the dog that Annie was talking about.
They really want to get off the island, and
they want to leave, and
Annie tells them about the woman who's looking for her.
Yeah, and the woman that's looking for her is the same one that was with Mike's dad. Not Mike's dad.
Yeah.
Charlie's
with
dad.
Cap.
Yeah, Cap. And
she has him at gunpoint asking him questions.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember the order of sequence because like I said, I watched it a few days ago. So
she tells him that she's looking after an incredibly violent girl.
Yeah, who turns out to be Annie.
Somewhere close here. Yeah.
Yeah, turns out to be Annie. And Annie is actually not from Skull Island, but from another island that she shipwrecked on.
Yeah, I love the. He goes, yeah, but you said you're from the island. She goes, another island.
Not this island.
Not all islands are the same. It's like one of the funny moments of the show.
And
But
she has a group
Charlie,
of soldiers with her.
Yeah. Well, because you find out. No, I guess that's the next episode. You find out when you find out about Irene.
yeah, I mean, you figure it out pretty quickly that's
Yeah, you can tell
she looks like her.
Not a surprise, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
next
when
they
we
come
get-
across that huge bird.
Yeah.
But they managed
and
to
the bird, and I love the bird because the bird basically just sort of works for Kong, getting him food.
Yeah.
And so it scoops him up as food. Dog and Charlie.
I thought bird was next episode.
It probably is.
No.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
meet the bird, but managed to get away.
Bird is the next episode. This is the one. This was the whole "we're doing the stuff with dog" episode. And remember, they fall down the hole and dog won't get them, or was that next?
Yeah.
I get confused because I watched them all together and.
Yeah, well, that's what we did. We binged it.
No.
Well, let's just talk about what's going on and not worry about the episode because it's just so great in these two episodes because we get to meet Dog. Charlie wants Dog to like him.
Well,
why is it important to him?
He likes Annie. Because he likes
Annie, so he wants Dog to like him. So he's like wanting to be friendly with Dog. Dog's like, "Fuck you," you know.
Yeah,
in
Dog's
his own
not
language,
having it.
like snort, grunt.
I think Dog is actually a foo dog.
I think that's what he is too.
Which means he might be a juvenile version of the same kind of kaiju that Grand Caesar is.
Yep.
King Caesar.
King Caesar. Yep.
Yeah. Depends on what Grand Caesar. It's a translation thing.
Or a first cousin, because his dad wasn't that big either. He's the same size as his dad now. So I don't know how big these things get.
Yeah. But I mean, it's definitely of the food dog variety. You could tell by the way it looks in its face and its stance, and it would make sense because they're in the Asian. They're in the East, in the Asian territorial waters. Yeah, Pacific Islands. My brain couldn't come up with Pacific, so I don't know.
Or
why.
as my stepdaughter used to say, it's a specific island.
Yeah.
She was a specific time. I'm like, why do you keep saying that? What the fuck are you saying that for? Pacific, not specific.
But eventually going back, because they bounce back and forth between the kids and Cap and Irene and the soldiers, and Cap figures it out pretty quickly that she's got something going on. So she eventually pulls a gun on him and starts questioning why he's there and what's going on.
And he's suspicious as to what they are tracking with that tracking device that they get fixed.
Yeah.
And then that helicopter shows up and gets torn apart by the tentacles. So what is going on?
Yeah, you definitely.
Yeah. I do like the reference to that tentacled creature as being a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Because Charlie says, and apparently that thing in the ocean's a dick, and he's just throwing whales at Kong.
Yeah.
The comedy in this thing. I also like that there's that scene at the beginning.
They are not friends.
There's that scene at the beginning of episode 3 where Charlie and Mike are wrestling with that one soldier. And then all three of them hear the dog and jump behind bushes and hiding together. They were just fighting, and all of a sudden they're hiding together.
And next thing you know, the soldier's gone. He
Yep.
takes off. And I was getting confused because there's actually two birds. There's the large bird that ate the soldier that they're going to set a trap to eat Dog because they don't, their dog's a problem for them. But there's also the axebeak type bird.
The one that dog kills in the beginning of episode 4.
Like emu or whatever. Yeah. So I was getting birds confused. I forgot there's technically 2 birds. Only 1 stone, though.
Too many fucking huge animals.
And one thing I find interesting is we've seen reference to, but we have not seen any of those skull creatures. Did Kong kill them all?
Well, they're not. I don't think he killed them all. I think that because he drove them, because another one shows up.
Drove them underground.
Yeah, he drove them back underground. Because one of them shows up in Godzilla versus Kong. No, King of the Monsters.
Is the same animal though?
No, that's right. So I'm getting Muto and Skull Eaters, Skull Crushers, or whatever.
Yeah,
mixed
I
up.
don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I thought we saw one of those creatures in another movie, though.
The only ones I remember seeing were in Skull Island.
Yes.
Hi, Shirley. She's back. Headed inside grocery store. I might lose connection. Hope not, Penny. You should take us with you when you're shopping.
Oh, I know why. They're in the novelization of Godzilla King of the Monsters, because they try and leave when Ghidorah sends out his signal as King of the Monster to bring all the monsters to pay tribute to him. They go to leave Skull Island and Kong doesn't let him. And yes, there is an adult Skullcrawler in Apex Cybernetics, because that's what they're using to test Mechagodzilla.
But it's not shown in the movie.
Yeah, it is.
I don't remember that.
That's what the creatures are that they're using to test. That are Skullcrawlers.
Yeah, that seems
watch it.
That's what the eggs are. The eggs are Skullcrawler eggs that they find in the they get in that pod and it's full of eggs.
Oh no shit! That's what those are.
Yeah, those are Skullcrawler eggs, because that's Skullcrawlers are what they're using to test Kong or Mechagodzilla against.
Ooh.
So that means they've gone to Skull Island or they found another source of the Skull Crusher creature. Skull Crawler, not Crusher. But yeah, so that's we lost Gerry. So anyway,
I think his connection was really down to 1 bar.
Yeah. To go back to
saw that in the top left.
Yeah, to go back to Skull Island. At the beginning of episode 4,
we learn how Annie met her dog.
Yeah.
We finally get that story, and that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Because we see the dog as a puppy.
He's just gonna be a big puppy. Yeah, that's it. But but they, while Charlie's trying to get Dog to like him, Charlie falls
into that hole.
Yeah. And
and he finds a sword.
Dog won't go to rescue him.
No.
But he finds he finds an old 15th century thereabouts sword that's all coated with stuff. It's all rusted and stuff, and he thinks it's the coolest thing ever. And
of course he does.
Yeah, and then he finds the carapace of a spider that has molted, but he doesn't realize that that's what it is. He just thinks it's dead. And so they're trying to, like I said, Dog won't go down and rescue him. Annie tries to get him, and Dog's like, nope, I'm not interested.
And then the bug comes, right? This huge bug, and he tries to stab it, but his weapon is too damaged. And he pretends to be in danger, so the dog finally helps. She tricks Dog into helping them.
Yeah, because Annie, they all come down there because that's the only way they can get Dog to come down there is if Annie's down there. And so this spider thing is going to attack them, and so she lays down and plays dead, and so Dog's like, fine, and hops down and saves them all.
She's clever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then the guards show up.
Yeah.
And the dog tries to get away because he knows that's bad.
Yeah.
Because Irene and her group are, on the other hand, trying to find Annie.
Oh yeah.
And they talk about the what is it? Octopus kind of thing, sea creature that he saw while sailing.
Yeah.
And she saw it too. I mean, they both got shipwrecked by that creature.
Yeah. The
oh wait, yeah, and then the flower eats her or tries to eat her.
Yeah, that's there's these nice, pretty flowers, but they're giant and huge, like everything on Skull Island. And it turns out that the flowers are carnivorous and eats her, and they.
Yeah. Clearly, they have not watched Star Trek. They would know otherwise and not approach the pretty flowers. That's ratchet behavior right there.
It's sort of like, I don't know. It reminds me of that scene in Prometheus where you get a strange looking eel or snake-like creature. Oh, come here. Oh, it's like, what are you doing? This is an unknown fauna. What are you doing? You don't just walk up to it. You don't know if that thing's poisonous, aggressive. Oh my God.
Well, this is the episode where
same thing with Flora.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't trust anything, especially on Skull Island.
Yeah.
But no, this is the episode where Cap starts talking about Hollow World theory.
Oh, yes.
And about there being... And for some reason, Irene knows all about it. She's not surprised. Dun, dun,
and
dun.
He is really concerned that she might kill Annie as soon as she finds her. And Annie stumbles into her trap, unfortunately. So she gets her.
Yep, they made it to the field where the bird hunts. And that's where the episode ends. So the next episode will deal with the fallout from all that.
Yeah, the next episode, because that episode was called What's Up, Croc?
Yeah.
And episode 4 is Breakfast Fit for a King.
For Kong. Yeah. Yeah. Kong's not king yet.
I so enjoy this show.
Yeah. It surprised me. I thought it was going to be really childish when I first saw it.
It's fun to watch.
It's not childish at all. It's not super adult either. They didn't go the other direction with it.
It's not excessive. It's cheeky. It's funny. It's written in a way that adults and young adults, teens could enjoy.
Not kids. Some of it might be
kids, because there's language in here and blood.
Yeah.
There's blood.
And maiming.
Yeah.
But this episode opens with one of my favorite moments where Dog and Annie are climbing a tree. The dog is climbing a tree, and Charlie's like, "It can climb trees too." It's freaked out by everything it can do.
Yeah, but I think Dog's going to come around to Charlie at some point.
Well, we watched the whole season, and it kind of does.
Well, what we got so far.
Yeah, what we've got. So we're mid-season. We get half of the season, and we'll get the other half. Hopefully, I hope they had it already done, because they're usually 2 years in production. These kinds of shows.
Oh God, I hope we don't have to wait that long.
Let me look.
Yeah. We just, by the way, and we'll be talking about it this afternoon on TGIF. We finally got an update on Jack Reacher season 2.
Oh.
So, and by the way, we start to see the deterioration of Mike in this episode.
Yeah, he is.
When that squid shocked him, it cut his chest open, and it's becoming infected somehow.
It looks gangrenous because it's black.
It's multicolored, and I don't know if that's gangrene. I think that's an infection, and I think something within that squid is dangerous to humans.
From what I'm seeing, we've got to wait a year. We got to wait till 2024.
Oh, before we get the second part of the season?
Yep.
Or with 6 episodes the season?
8 episodes is the season.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Because this is where they run into that dodo-looking bird.
Yeah.
And Mike, it yells at Mike, and then Mike yells back at it, and then it yells back at Mike and gets aggressive looking.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell is going on with this damn bird? And then it starts charging him. Yeah, it's funny as hell.
See, yeah, when you dropped out, I was explaining that I got confused because there's 2 birds in this story.
Yep. And this one, right when it's charging him, dog drops out of the tree right on top of it and kills it.
Yeah. And so they have a bird for dinner.
Yum, yum, big bird. Hey, big bird.
Now, I bet that bird tastes like chicken.
Oh, you guarantee it's kind of gamey, but
yeah,
it's wild. You know it's going to be kind of gamey. So,
T-Rex probably tasted like chicken.
Well, you could bet on it. I mean,
they are related.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're the chicken is the closest living relative to it. The chicken is the closest living relative to a T-Rex.
Structurally, yes, but I don't see a T-Rex having white meat.
Nobody cares about the white meat, dude. White meat is dry. You want the dark meat.
Yeah, dark meat's got
thighs,
the most juices. Yeah,
legs. That's some good eating there, except for the front legs.
Yeah,
you weren't listening to me, right?
Those are wings in a chicken.
Wings on a fucking T-Rex are terrible. I bet you chicken wings are bigger than T-Rex wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the closest thing to T-Rex wings are chicken legs, like they do in China, but the same amount of meat on there.
Yeah, but yeah, Martine, it's true that the chicken is the closest living relative.
And at this point, this is when they go walk into the jungle. They ate some of that delicious wild dodo, and Charlie falls into that fucking hole.
Yep.
And gets stuck down there in that little tunnel, and it's like this squishy skull. It was really weird because when he touches it, it's squishy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ew.
Well, he doesn't realize that it's the carapace of the spider creature that it molted from.
Yeah, because that's right. That's what it was. It's the shell.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're like ants, spiders. We'll say ants instead of spiders for anima's sake.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Sorry.
And now we cut back to the other camp, and Dad looks up, and there's that giant fucking bird.
Yeah.
And they start to walk into that tall, corn-like maze-looking grass.
With the flowers.
Yep. And we see that, I forget what the character's name, Phil Lamar does the voice of the character, the one soldier that seems to have a relationship with the mom.
With Irene, yeah. I forgot what his name is, but he's her second in command.
But there seems to be something more personal between them. Like when she says, "You don't know what it's like," and he says, "You know, I know what it's like." And I'm like, I wonder what story that's going to lead to. Something happened to him.
I think for that line and the other line with Cap, that he at some point was a father. And
I'm suspecting that there is a connection, not just a father.
No, because remember when Cap is saying he's narrating how he knew about the existence of the monsters. He said it changed that even changed my life forever, and that only has happened twice, another time in my life. And Sam just say, "Your boy." No, he doesn't ask. He says, "Your boy."
Yeah.
And Cap look at him and says, "Yes, my boy."
I'm willing to bet that that Irene and him both got shipwrecked, and he lost his son on the other island.
I think that it's further back.
Think it's further back than that?
I think it's further back, and I think she's somehow connected to it. That's why he says it that way. You know that.
I don't think so because he
There's no
obviously have
reason.
a deep caring
There's no
for her.
reason in the narrative process to point out, you know that,
Yeah.
and not have her somehow involved with it. You know that.
Well, hopefully we'll find out next season.
That's something, that is a bit of dialogue that isn't delivered without, it's a bullet delivered with some powder behind it.
Yeah.
Look at it that way. Dialogue is so important, and it tells you, and it can foreshadow. And I believe that that's going to be foreshadowed, that there is she was there, or she is directly involved with what happened to his child. And you watch.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me.
Poor Charlie is stuck in that fucking hole. They're trying to figure out, well, how are we going to get him out of there? And of course, Dog has zero interest in helping. You going to help get him? Just sleeps. No interest in saving Charlie.
So eventually Mike comes sliding down.
Yep.
The way he got down.
He goes and finds the hole. And of course, Charlie finds an ancient sword.
Yeah.
And it's a Spanish sword. It's a rapier with a full covered hilt.
Yeah, but he wasn't here, so we'll let him talk about it.
What's that?
Oh.
We already went over this while you were gone.
Oh. Has that gone that long? Jeez.
You were gone long enough for me to explain and actually, talk about the 15th century sword. And I didn't identify it as Spanish because I'm not sure it was.
And all while that's going on, when he finds that, and Mike joins him in the hole, Mom gets eaten by Irene gets eaten by the flower, and her number one cuts it down. They're trying to figure out how to save her, and of course, the captain helps get her out.
Yeah, pry it open.
But then he stays with the flower that ate her and says she's dying. And it gives it a bit of sympathy.
Yeah.
Because it's just trying to survive. Don't take it personally it was wanting to eat you. You're just something walking around. It doesn't know your life story. It doesn't give a shit. It just eats.
Yeah. Because Cap doesn't blame the kaiju for eating the ship. He's not bitter about it.
He's not Ahab.
No.
With his white whale.
No.
It's not personal. Even though in Moby Dick it is personal because the whale hates him because Ahab killed its mate.
Well, I think Cap's more interested in the discovery of, bringing this creature to light so the world sees it. He's more not gonna say quixotic because that would be that'd be tilting at windmills, but more sorry, I can't think of the word. My brain's not working right now.
We can. Well, at this point, the boys are still down in that hole, and then all of a sudden, that husk starts getting pulled into the darkness, dragged into the darkness, and they know there's something there, and so they turn with that rapier. They're ready to fight all the time. You see that? I like that about these two. They're like, let's go.
Even though they're outclassed by everything.
Yep. And now all of a sudden Annie is down there with him. They go, hey. And she's got her broken. I love that part where she's got the broken handcuffs as bracelets now.
Yeah.
Like jewelry or.
And she's got the end of the harpoon. And she's like, well, that's mine. Well, technically it came from my ship.
I stole that. It's mine.
Yeah.
She has a very child view of things because she's grew up with a dog and nobody teach her.
Oh, yeah, she grew up on that island alone.
Oh, this leads to one of my favorite moments. They're terrified. Mike and Charlie are terrified. She goes, I got this. And she walks up to that ant and then collapses on the ground and starts moaning. Oh my God. Oh, ow, ow. And then of course, that triggers Dog. Dog comes down.
Because as you know, that's a real technique. When your dog is
Yeah.
not paying attention to you, you do that, and they come.
And so
Yeah,
Dog
but-
comes down there and is ready to fight.
Yeah, but he initially, when she flops over like that, he initially rolls his eyes.
Hmm.
And then he hops down
funny.
there.
There is so much. The thing that makes this fun is it's comedy, but not written as comedy. It's not shtick.
Yeah.
It's again, it relies on people's reaction to things that make it funny, and the things they say and their interactions and their reactions to things is what make it funny. Because really, what's going on in this island is terrifying. And of course, I do like that there seems to be a chemistry between the captain and Irene too. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Because like when she points the gun at him, and he's like, "You don't need that," and she goes, "I'm so used to dealing with people who are assholes. I forgot there's some nice people in the world." And she drops her gun. She goes, "I don't." You know, she realizes I don't need to hold a gun on you.
Yeah.
To get what I need.
Yeah, but there's definitely some sparks there between the two.
So I'm really curious where this is going, because I thought at first that there was something going on between her and her number one.
Yeah, I don't think they're together. I think
I think he has feeling for her.
I think so too.
That makes sense. That's
going to be the love triangle, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
got to have a love
one
triangle.
of them's going to end up sacrificing themselves. It's a typical writing trope that one of them sacrifices themselves for the others. You know, go have a good life. Blah, get eaten.
This is one time that I hope they subvert our expectations. And they don't do that.
I find they tend to not do that.
Yeah, I know.
In these kinds, I'm not saying that this is badly written. It just follows a lot of the tropes.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. As long as it's written well. That's all I care about. And it's interesting. Because
you can follow the numbers as long as you describe the numbers well.
Yep, exactly. And of course, this is also the moment where when she jumps back on Dog as they're getting ready to leave, she points out that those bullets do hurt him. And she lifts the fur up so you can see the scar from being shot recently. Okay, having my first beer. Cheers, friends. Okay, Christian. I need to get a beer one just for you.
And
I'll just do this one. Until then, I'll do this one.
Sounds awesome.
One more time with feeling.
Sounds awesome.
Drinking beer is awesome.
Oh,
what?
We got number 2.
By the way, today is Old Milwaukee. All right, man. When you pick piss water, you know how to pick them.
Yeah.
Old Milwaukee, man. God, all of them. Coors is the worst of the piss water beers, in my opinion, because it's ultra filtered. So it's just like drinking water to me.
At least it wasn't Milwaukee's best.
Oh, Beast is just. I've had moments in the past where I got caught right at the right moment as I'm going to drink something, and I hated the taste of it so much I almost threw up. From Old Milwaukee, Old Milwaukee's best. Beast,
yeah,
as we called it.
The Beast, yeah, and that's what everybody gave money for. It's like they wanted the cheapest beer.
The cheapest beer is Mickey's Big Mouth, and it's a malted beer, and it is the only beer that I actually threw up after getting drunk on it. And I never drink Mickey's Big Mouth ever again. That is just horrible beer. Terrible.
Yeah, I know.
I've never thrown up drinking beer. I don't throw up until I mix my booze. That will fuck me up. Like, oh my God, that one night. Oh, I'll never forget that night. Whiskey and beer. Don't do it. Also, another one that makes me throw up is getting fucked up on, what do you call it? Mexican
Corona?
Tequila.
Oh, mezcal?
Tequila, period.
Oh, tequila. Oh.
Tequila. Oh, man. I refer to that as first, when you get fucked up on that, you zombie walk like crazy. And it's bizarre. And I warned Mac, and I met Mac. Mac was drinking with my buddy Chris, who's, he's Mexican. And he's like, I got some tequila, man. I went, nah, I don't want any of that. No, thanks. He goes, you drink with me, Mac. And so Mac drank with him. They both got fucked up on it. And seriously, no shit. 2 hours into it, I'm like, where the fuck is Mac and Chris? And Ultra Rob and I walk out onto the back deck. And there they are. It's an enclosed deck, and they're just wandering around talking like zombies.
Tequila makes me randy. Is what it does to me.
Please never put that in my head again.
Sorry.
Next thing you know, they're throwing up. I grabbed Mac. Mac can't drive, so I drove us home. And he's like a dog hanging out the side passenger window, like half his body hanging out, puking into the highway. So driving home. And I just kept doing the I told you so, because I'm his big brother. Like, I told you not to drink it. You don't listen to me. Oh, I know better than Gerry.
Yeah, I do tequila straight.
Yeah.
No salt, no lime.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like it. My mom, God rest her soul, she was a hell of a bartender. She made a mean margarita. I don't like margaritas. Hers, I will drink. They're too fruity for me. They're too ladylike. But hers were really good, and I drank those. But I like tequila shots, but I don't like getting drunk on it. I won't. I'll do a couple of shots with them, then I'll wait a couple hours. Christian DeLorme with another Canadian $2. Tastes very, some swallow, other spit. Ha. Let's see. I'll give you this one.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
So we're in the final moments of the episode after she shows the scar from the bullet. And the Dog and Annie and the boys are trying to find it. I don't even know where they're looking for. And they end up going in the same direction as I was wondering if we're going to lose her, because she wasn't talking for a while.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't respond to me when I said something to her earlier. So clearly connection sucks. Yeah. But it ends with, once again, the bird making its presence known. They fall down in the grass, and they're like shooting at that. And then we see those snake-like creatures come out after Dog and the kids. And boom, episode's over. Episode 4 is over. I like the cliffhanger endings. And I'm a big fan of cliffhanger endings. I always have been. It's reminiscent of the classic serials of the old days. I like that.
I just don't like them at the end of the season.
Yeah, because you're not guaranteed to come back. And
the only way I don't mind them is if it's already
they've been pre-greenlit for another season. Don't do that shit. It's stupid, and you're just creating problems for your own production when you do that. Give people an ending of sorts. So one of the shows, by the way, I've been watching again, and I'm going to bed to at night, is UFO, Jerry Anderson's TV series.
Classic series.
I really found something interesting as I'm watching it. I pay attention. Sometimes I don't pay attention to it when I'm caught up in the child aspect of it, because I was a kid watching it. And I'm just like, I relive the childhood feelings about these episodes. But I finally sat down and I just really watched them. And I started picking up on the fact that, boy, he really hadn't gotten over working with marionettes.
Yeah.
Because when you watch the blocking in those scenes, there's not a lot of movement. And the movement is very rudimentary. It's like they didn't know how to stage and block scenes with humans. They only knew how to do them with marionettes. And so if you watch, especially the first season of UFO, watch that. The blocking in that is done in the exact same way as he did with Captain Scarlet, with the Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
His blocking is so rudimentary, and it really caught me off guard. I was like, oh, holy shit.
Well, wasn't this the first live action he did after
It
his
was the
Supermarination?
first live action. Yep. Because he had made a career with Century 21 doing all these shows with marionettes and miniatures.
Yeah.
And this is a show that integrated real people. And he knew how to work with real people because he was doing that all the way back with Captain Scarlet, where they would cut to a scene where Captain Scarlet goes, oh, let me go check and see. And you'd see the puppet arm move towards something. And they would cut to a real screen with a human hand pushing a button. And I remember as a kid, like, how'd they do that? That puppet hand looked amazing.
Yeah.
So they had started working with real humans and full-scale stuff all the way back, Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet. But UFO was the first show where they really ramped up the working with people and only the vehicles. And it's kind of weird when they do it because you'll never see somebody get out of the vehicle.
No.
They show the vehicle land and then they cut to the person like coming into another room. Just got off the flight.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't figured out yet how to do that shit. We refer to it as forced perspective. And I remember learning that stuff in high school with Craig Edwards. Craig and I were like reading the same stuff, Cinemagic, Cinefantastique, all these things about filmmaking, learning how to, Cinemagic was one of the big ones. Did you ever read that magazine?
Yeah. I mean, I was mostly Starlog, but occasionally I get Cinemagic.
Cinemagic really broke the effects down. It was one of the best periodicals that dealt with special effects.
What was the horror one?
Fangoria.
Fangoria, yeah.
Yeah. That was Starlog. Cinemagic was not. It was its own publishing company. I met them.
Yeah.
Really good people. We had, on Blade Zone, we had actually put up the Blade Runner issue, and they asked us not to do that. They didn't send us a cease and desist. They actually contacted us and asked us to take that down. And we did. We're like, yeah. We don't want to piss you off. And so what they did is they set up something, and we linked directly to Cinemagic's link for that issue. So people can look at a few pages and buy a copy of it themselves.
Yeah.
And eventually it got published as a hardcover book, a coffee table book, that issue, the special effects of Blade Runner. It is similarly the best breakdown of how the effects were done for Blade Runner.
Cool.
By Cinemagic. Still great issue. And you can find it, I'm sure, on eBay and on Amazon, used copies. I don't know if you can find new copies of it. Because the father that created Cinemagic died and left it to his son. And I think his son tried to make it work, but he could not. In modern era, he could not. Publishing is dead with magazines. It really is. If you're not tabloid, you can't survive. Everything needs to be online. And so I don't know if he continued doing it online or what he's doing. I'd like to look into it. I'd like to get a hold of him. I haven't talked to him in 15, 20 years. I should find him, see what he's doing, and talk to him about the magazine and his dad and what he did with that magazine. Because Cinemagic was the shit. Here, let me find a copy. And then we can get out of here because we are at the show and we got to prepare for this afternoon.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what are we doing this afternoon?
Give me a minute. There it is. Cinemagic Magazine. They're on Facebook. Starlog. Oh, wait.
Yeah, Cinemagic was part of Starlog.
Then what am I talking about?
Cinema Fantastique.
Cinema Fantastique is another magazine. Let me go to Amazon. And I'll find it there. Let's see, where's it at? I hated the comic books for the new comic books for Blade Runner. Boy, they were terrible.
Yeah.
What? I cannot. They're not selling it. Let me go to eBay.
Yeah. Oh, not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. I'm doing my second. I'm finally getting around to finishing my second part of the Showa era Godzilla movies.
Ah, cool. By the way, I've checked it out. I love the Godzilla channel on Pluto.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's in the original Japanese, and they have subtitles, full HD. Oh my God. I watch, in fact, the first thing I watched on there was Son of Godzilla. And the last thing I watched was had Mothra in it. And I can't remember, had the crab monster, the giant lobster monster.
Yeah.
And a silly movie, but it was fun watching it.
Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Or whatever it's. I forgot what his Japanese name is now. I'll tell you in a second.
Cinefex. That was it.
Okay.
Hey, the Peter Venkman.
Oh, Ebra. Ebra is the name of the crab monster. Ebra Horror of the Deep. Known in the United States as Godzilla versus the Sea Monster.
It looks like Cinefex was working all the way up into the 20-teens because it did a Force Awakens issue talking about the visual effects for that film. God, they did some great ones. Let me find Blade Runner.
Well, he's on that. John, I just saw that it's a movie. It has to be Asylum by the just for the title, Cocaine Shark.
I imagine so. I haven't checked Asylum's recent releases yet because I love me some Asylum movies.
Oh yeah,
you guys.
The ultimate Asylum movies, the Armageddon 2025 I told you about.
Yes.
Armageddon, because Asylum is obviously self-aware of what kind of movies they put out. Last year they put out a movie called Armageddon 2025, where the premise of it is this militant alien species has been receiving nothing but a signal of the Asylum movie channel. So they attack Earth.
Aliens.
They attack Earth with monsters and disasters from Asylum's movies.
All right, here you go, guys. This is the Cinefex cover for Blade Runner, the making of Blade Runner.
Cool.
Great issue. One of the most informative issues. This is the inside cover and first page. They really did an amazing breakdown, and it's so popular and so respected that they eventually published it as a hardcover book. And it can't. I'm gonna see if they have it on Amazon, Amazon.com, and look up Cinefex.
Yeah,
Blade Runner. See if that book is still available. It is available. It is available. You can actually get used copies of it for as little as $150.
Oh, yeah. That's as little as.
It's 185. If you go to eBay, I found it there for 185, $75. Let's see. If you get the Star Trek, the motion picture, and Blade Runner together for one, $175 for both. $47 on one in good condition, not great condition. They got there's some really good stuff here. I love eBay. For stuff that's been stolen or lost over the years, I'll go to eBay and replace my missing magazines and stuff that I've had since I was a kid. So, but anyway, guys, that's the end of the episode. If you are not watching Skull Island, please take time to watch it. It's fun. It was a lot of fun. It's silly and entertaining, and it's got kaiju in it, animated. The style is more like Warner Brothers animation, less anime. Speaking of anime, have you guys tried to check out the new Superman series?
Oh,
I'm not happy with it.
I've seen some. Oh no, man!
Love the animation, but the minute they race swapped Jimmy Olsen again,
yeah,
I
got like 15 minutes into it, and it was like, I'm not watching this crap.
The minute you see Jimmy Olsen walking with him, he says who he is, that he's Jimmy Olsen, I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm sick of this shit. Of the whole gender and race swapping stuff is stupid.
I don't like seeing Superman acting like a teenager girl with anxiety.
Yeah, just like he hadn't figured out how to control his strength yet. Breaks a door.
Shirley, Skull Island is on Netflix.
Or if you're like me, on other sites.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely do not promote going to websites like fmovie.to. That is just,
yeah, you don't want to
go there. Don't go there.
Yeah, you don't want to go to the Pirate Bay and click on a few things.
See, I won't do that. I don't like the downloading. I like the websites where you can stream them. Turn on your ad blocker and go watch them on those websites. F-Movies, Putlocker.
Yeah. So what are we covering this afternoon for TGIF?
Well, hold on. I'll just show you. I'll just upload the thumbnail so you can see. Because if you go to YouTube, it's on there. It shows you what we're going to be talking about.
Well, yeah, I was trying to segue that so we tell the audience.
But you have the information, right? So you
I know what we're talking about.
I've got to go look for it. If you already know the information, feel free to start talking about it.
Well, we're talking about obviously Disney's shitty week.
Well, we're going to be talking about this fuck ups that Marvel, DC, and just Disney is doing, and Warner Brothers with DC and stuff. Here's the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Where Marvel and DC keep screwing up and what they should be doing. This will be some key stuff for Keith to dig into. Where Indy 5 went wrong and what they should have done instead. We're going to talk about Beetlejuice, and I'm going to explain why some of the cast aren't returning. Some of them for obvious reasons, some of them for dumb reasons. MI7 proves all the studios are wrong, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different subjects. But those are some of the key ones we're going to talk about this afternoon. And Keith is really wanting to dig in to where DC and Marvel where they should have gone.
Yeah.
Their decision making just kind of leaves us, Keith and I are like, what is he fucking thinking? I don't know what they're thinking when they do these things. And Shang-Chi, I put Shang-Chi up there for a reason because, look, a lot of you might not know who Shang-Chi was. That story was that TV show based on Bruce Lee's idea of what Kung Fu is supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was a comic book version. And the main character, Shang-Chi, was supposed to be Bruce Lee. That's why he kind of looked like him.
Yeah.
And there's no magic. And he was dealing with the fact that his father was the head of the triads. He was a criminal. He ran a criminal empire. And it was him fighting those things. No magic.
And that was all street level stuff.
And what does Feige do? Turns it into more fucking crouching tiger, hidden dragon, magical jumping around on fucking kung fu farts. It's just fucking stupid. It's insulting to the original comic.
Well, he tried to make a Wire movie and failed miserably.
Feige's Phase 4 was just garbage. The only thing we got out of that Phase 4 came from Sony, was the Spider-Man film. She's a pirate with a cat on her shoulder. What do we call that? A caterit? Somebody said it the other day and it cracked me up. I'm like, what the fuck? So that's what we'll be talking about this afternoon. And we're going to, Keith is going to dig into it. And Zach, your sarcasm is duly noted, mister.
Yeah. And everybody knows Keith's got all the deets.
all the deets. That dude breaks it down. He has a murder board in his head of how things work and how they shouldn't work. But that's it, guys. We are done here. So we have ways of making you talk in the afternoon. Auf Wiedersehen.
Those sons of bitches.
Ma, I'm doing a show.